Hello everybody, this is Grimkid and we are here with a new game. You can see what game it is. It is Tyranny. We're going to be jumping right in it. Because it's a game that's been out for a while. I'm sure you've seen about it, and if you haven't, well, you will soon. We're going to be playing on normal difficulty. Because we're doing it on camera. I've been doing hard on the other ones, but you know, since it's on camera, let's not embarrass myself too much and do normal. I'm really excited. Like, really excited for this one.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
How indeed. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up. And I'm going to be doing a setup a little bit different than what I'm doing off camera. Off camera I am doing a sort of magey build. And so we are going to be looking at doing more of a, well, either a melee build or some sort of ranged build. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Oh, I like the scruffy hair. And as a bearded individual, I have no choice but to do the full beard. Could we have fiery red hair? He does look like a guy with fiery red hair. Or he could be sort of an old man. I like the fiery red hair.
That wasn't so hard. I'm injured, tired. Let's rest. See that? Trouble is afoot. Flawless! You learn something every day. This will be fun.
He doesn't really do a lot of talking. And I might have to up the volume a little bit and down the music volume. Because there is a lot of voice chat in here, and I would like to save my own voice and have the actual voice actors do the actual voice chat. We'll just... I kind of like these ones, but, you know, I'm boring, and I like more sort of the tribal feel to it, with just the dark, dark black. The portraits, I feel, leave a little to be desired. But, no matter. We'll go for this. We'll go for this sort of sneaky guy right here. Okay, how did we join Kairos's army? Were we a pit fighter? A hunter? And this is your background, your history. I don't believe it affects your skills at all, but it gives you dialogue options, things like that. Guild Apprentice, Noble Scion, and you can pause and read off to the side if you wish. A soldier, a lawbreaker, a war mage, or a diplomat. I think a soldier? I think more of a ranged when I think hunter, a noble scion. Or a lawbreaker. Accused of a crime you most certainly did commit. You found us guilty. No, I don't like that one as much. I think we were a pit fighter. Gosh. A war mage? We could... Let's be a lawbreaker. It's interesting. And first we will take, let's see, sword and shield, a great sword, javelin, dual wielding, I think I actually want to do the greatsword, because there aren't exactly a lot of party members, I believe, who do two-handed, you know, naturally in their base setup, you know? Let's see. God, that looks just crazy awesome, though. Alright, Sunder, which does heavy damage, reduces their armor, or cleave, which hits multiple nearby enemies. Let's do the heavy damage one. In our secondary, that's absolutely pointless. War mace? What? Oh, you can... Huh. We could just go all in on it. But I think we're gonna take a little bit of magic too. Sort of a buffing ability and all that. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay. We'll try it out. Why not? Let's see. Can we get something that's sort of melee and magic-y? Other than that, nope, but that's fine. Let's see our character colors. Like red and green. Black and white. Black and black. Black like my soul. Oh my gosh, some of these combinations are so garish. I love it. Gosh, you know, let's be unexciting. Yeah. Well, since my one color is the gold, maybe not the pants. Fair, like our accents are golden. Alright, I spent too much time on this anyway. Let's see, our name... I do not actually want to name us Grimcad because, well, I named my off-camera one Grimcad and I think I might get confused with the saves. So we will name him another name than I use. Barashkukor. We're gonna put most of our stuff into might. We're gonna put a little into wits, a little into resolve. Resolve is recommended for Great Sword, I see. Okay. Okie dokie, that looks pretty good. And our skills. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if I hit that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Parry is greatsword? Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll bump all that up to 30. Dodge is not gonna come into it much, I don't think. 1, 2. Alright, so we're kind of a well-rounded character. Our lore is not great, but that'll be fine. Okay. Looking good, and we will do the conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
During the conquest, you'll decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you'll adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. And they surely do. Surely do. So, just to get it out of the way, there are 2 major factions in the very beginning. There's the Disfavored on the one hand, which are the elite troops of the army. as it mentioned before, and there is the Scarlet Chorus, which are the teeming masses of the army. We will be siding, because eventually you have to make a choice and basically back one or the other armies. We will be siding with the Scarlet Chorus during this playthrough. And we'll see about maybe doing another one where we side with the disfavored in another one. But in my off-camera game, I have sided with the disfavored, and so I want to mix things up a little bit. But here we are at the Bastard City. There are little tooltips pop up. I will bring them up. You may pause the video and look at them yourselves. I will not be reading it out loud. The tooltips pop up for most part. The Bastard City, I can't talk to begin with, stood on the northern border between the Kyros' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it the natural first target in Kyros' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kyros' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kyros' will is insurmountable. And then you get two little options between there. We can infiltrate the Tears, or we can do the Gates of Judgment. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with the advance units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The disfavored and Scarlet Corlet each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? Or the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kyros took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of conquest of the Tears. Two armies, the disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus. Oh, and you can read those. A lot of them are the same, but brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. Which, as I said before, we are going all in on the Scarlet Chorus. You caught the mercenary army unprepared for the Manian disorder of the Scarlet Chorus. Your forces overwhelmed the Tears' defenses in a few short hours, hacking and burning their way into the continent. Any mercenary who survived the battle found themselves initiated into the Scarlet Chorus, tortured by ruthless interrogators, or made the sport of competition as the army marched ruthlessly forward. To judge the enemy. The soldiers of the Tears fell by the hundreds, and Kyros' armies could not agree on how to handle what few survivors they dragged back to camp. Befitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who occupied your prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. The disflavored they taste terrible. The disfavored needed slaves to haul their gear, dig latrines, and keep their palates warm at night. My gosh. Or they served in the army. Feeding the host. Against the most optimistic projections, they made short work of local defenses. They did so well they outpaced supplies. They confiscated food and supplies, or they went pillaging and raiding. I think we're going to do this one, and we will give the prisoners a chance to serve in Kyros' army. You armed cooperative ex-soldiers with scrap weapons and tossed them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survived were welcome to take up the arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Kyros' military. After their first victory, you rewarded the new recruits with the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. The armies of Kyros amassed around the bastard city, the first bastion of the tiers to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outposts, the Scarlet Chorus, howling for plunder, the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the battlefield had carried them this far, but there was one more step. Did we remain neutral? And this one gives us an ability. Did we go with the Scarlet Chorus? Or did we go with the disfavored? We went with the Scarlet Chorus. It was passing strange. It was passing strange to barricade the very gates you sought to cross. But it all made sense when the fires began. The Scarlet Chorus sent a constant rain of flaming arrows over the walls of the bastard city, a plague that lasted through the long days and tireless nights. By the end, the blaze was too much for the city defenders to contain. Citizens crowded at the gates, pleading to be free from their smoldering city. You and your army were happy to oblige them. When the gates opened, they opened from the inside. And the city burns. And we can go to Lethian's Crossing or the Apex. And I will go to the Apex. The bastard city is settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kyros's banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. Yeah, and we went to either of these places. We will go to the Apex, because I did not go to the Apex last time. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you, to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kyros's law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Denial of Strength. A school of water mages loyal to the Tiersmen posed a substantial threat. The disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages, wanting to learn their craft. And the Battle of Edgering Pass. The disfavored sent their most destructive ally to crush Edgering Fort. Cairn, Archon of Stone, buried the stronghold under an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Chorus were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught. The Chorus demanded compensation. And we say, way to go, or we say that the youngest disfavored scouts joined the Chorus to settle the debt. I would like to do this one and side with the Chorus, ordering the mage elders taken alive for interrogation. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Chorus praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the voices of Narot's tent. Which I don't think we've seen that one before. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Chorus soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the Chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy school. Which they seem to be right. Poisoning the well. Hoping to break the siege, Chorus agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed, disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavored demanded that the chorus agents be turned over to them for punishment. Okay, and we agree, or we deny. A captive captain. When Kyros' forces captured a celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. They wanted him set free, or they wanted him flayed at the stake. Which kind of seems like it should be opposite to me, actually. But we'll go with the fear. Against the better wishes of tradition, mercy, or even good taste, you had the enemy captain drawn and quartered. Once the prisoner was disassembled, the butchers took great pleasure in reassembling his parts with stitching, cloth, and wooden poles, fashioning a crude totem of disorder. Days of watching their captain's body rot in the sun weakened the resolve of the Apex defenders. They reached out to Kyros' forces and sued for peace, hesitant that such an arrangement would be honored, given the brutality of your conquest. An end to further bloodshed, or... wow. Taunting the queen into striking you under banner of truce, you baited the queen of Apex into a duel and slew her. Bam! The chorus urge you to show the overlord's strength by any means necessary during peace talks. A well-placed insult goaded the queen into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. Though she was skilled in battle, we were better. Yeah, we... wow, that's pretty dirty, but... sort of an army, so, you know, kind of at war. And we can go to Azure. Stalwart, or the Vellum Citadel, which is where we went before, so we won't be going there. We'll go to Azure. The nation of Azure, once the richest settlement of the tiers, set on verdant, fertile plain. We fought beastmen, they fought defenders. They dispatched the Archon Cairn to break the stalemate, but the colossal man of stone and flesh arrived as instructed, but earning his cooperation was a tall order, even for me. The destruction of Azure. Cairn, the Archon of Scone, carved a deadly path through Azure, using his powers to blight the land. We complained that it left no farmland left to feed, and since Cairn marched with the disfavored, the Scarlet Chorus held the Legion responsible. And we say he can do what he wishes, or we can use the magic to repair the land destroyed by him. Ouch. Or stalked by shadows. After a roaming pack of beastmen slaughtered a disfavored patrol, the chorus responded by laying claim to the beasts for their army, while the disfavored readied a company to enact vengeance. The disfavored legion considered the beasts beyond taming, and they needed to be brought. Yeah, we say we can kill them. Or we captured them. I think we will go the feeding the troops route. At Cairn's rate of destruction, the land of Azure would soon be unable to sustain crops, but Kyros wanted a conquered land, not a barren wasteland. The chorus voiced these concerns, and you backed them, going so far as to enlist disfavored mages for aid, though loath to pause their studies and focus on agriculture. The mages assented and traveled with the rearguard, working to heal the land as they went. Cairn's madness. The Archon of Stone refused to rejoin the war camp, loudly denying Kyros' claim over Azure. Nothing less than a full unit of soldiers could subdue the treasonous Archon, yet neither army was willing to do it. We either send the disfavored, or we send the chorus. Forced into the fray, the Archon of Stone went missing. As the mages looked for Cairn, the chorus forced the mages into combat against their will, during which 2 were slain. They were furious, demanded they be punished. Nope, we are hunting Cairn. Seldom praised for their subtlety, the howling mob of the Scarlet Chorus took to the wilderness in great numbers. Though they scoured the region from top to bottom and found a wealth of evidence to suggest Cairn's passing, they could not locate the Archon. The evidence they found suggested that Cairn had amassed a following of local beastmen. The Edict of Stone. The Archon of Stone made brazen declarations that Kyros had no claim to rule the Tiers, even though he owns, the rest of the world. Soon after, word arrived that Kyros would dispatch this rebellious minion with an edict. Having shown a stern hand against the disfavored in the past, Tunon deemed it proper that you deliver punishment. Tunon selected you for the honor of proclaiming Kyros' edict of stone. Oh, just okay, well then, edict. A magical spell with the power to destroy the Archon. But he sensed his approaching doom. Cairn began an assault on Plainsgate, the largest human settlement of the area. It fell to you to send Kyros' forces into a suicide mission to halt Cairn's destruction, while you completed the proclamation of the edict. Knowing there was little chance of survival, we ordered the disfavored to march against the Stone Archon. Okay. Believing there was a slight chance superior numbers could do it, we sent the Scarlet Chorus. Or commit the full force of their armies. It was a desperate gamble. If you were wrong, there would be no one left alive to warn the other Archons of your failure. And we told them both to march. Again, we're just hammering into the Scarlet Chorus. Siding with them wholeheartedly. They went into battle wearing fierce grins. How often did they get to attack an Archon? Soon enough, their war songs twisted into shrieks of terror. Plainsgate still remained, but not after facing significant damage. You blocked it all out as you read the Edict of Stone. The earth under the battlefield groaned open, spitting up outcroppings of rock that obliterated the surrounding landscape for miles. From your vantage in the rear guard, the screams of the chorus continued without end. When the land heaved open to take Cairn, the Archon allowed it with serene acceptance. Okay. Sure. With the lands blighted and unrecognizable, well, even though we tried to do something about that, the realm of Azure was left bitterly ruined by the events of the war. In times to come, the Tears would call this blasted region the Stone Sea. For the treacherous rock formations and persistent earthquakes became the defining features of this once verdant land. Chorus established a sprawling camp in the shattered rocky terrain and quickly absorbed those displaced by the upheaval of the land. These hapless refugees were put to work as slaves and soldiers, and they rebuilt themselves. And Tunon called us into his service once more. Conquest complete. Let us continue.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance, but months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Fate Binder Barashku Corps, I presume. We've been expecting you. But we'll be expecting you next time. Thanks for watching. This was Grimcad with Tyranny. Please like, subscribe, comment, and all that jazz. I'm going to put up the second video immediately after this first, so stay tuned.